Hey guys, and welcome to part 20 of Let's Play Pokemon SoulSilver. In the last part we went through Team Rocket HQ. Well, we didn't go through that much of it. We were just fighting off Team Rocket grunts and it was kind of boring. I'll be the first to admit it's a bit boring. So in this part we're just exploring this place a bit more. And a nice little touch in this game, that guy right there has already been defeated by Lance. It'd be nice if there were a few more a few more guards that have already been defeated by Lance in this place, but I can see why they didn't do that. But yeah, because Lance is actually in this place, but you don't see him apart from in specific sections where you're supposed to see him. So I think that's kind of a bit odd. Because one thing that was cool in Black and White 2 is that your rival would actually be in certain areas at certain times. He wouldn't just walk off and disappear. For a lot of the game you could actually go see your rival. So I mean, I know that's the 5th gen, and they made a lot of improvements from the 4th gen to the 5th gen, but I think that would have been a really cool idea, because the whole point is that you're with Lance taking on Team Rocket, and I think they probably thought to themselves, maybe, just maybe, we can have Lance following the player and hanging out. A bit like how in Pokemon Pearl and Diamond you go through the forest with that girl, who I don't think you ever see again after, you know, helping her out. You don't even get some, if you know what I'm saying. No, there's no need for that. But yeah, so they must have considered that, because they've already done it by this point. But I mean, I think that would have just been cool if you just saw Lance hanging out at certain times. I think that would have been a good way to do it. But as it is, it's still really cool that you're doing this with Lance. I might have already mentioned, just when I was a kid playing Pokemon Silver, it was like, dude, that's the guy! That's the dragon guy! And we're hanging out for the forces of good! Now obviously, now that I'm all grown up and I'm 20, I don't quite feel the same way. I don't quite get that little kid's, oh my god, that's really cool! Oh, this is badass! But, you know, it's still nice to see. I don't know. I still got some moments in Pokemon Black and White 2 where I was like, whoa, that's really cool. I don't know if that's just nostalgia or what. I don't know. So what we're actually doing here, this place, like I already mentioned, this place in general isn't really a maze. It's actually quite linear. I guess all the complaints about Sifco from the first game sunk in, because that game was a confusing mess, I'll be honest. That was just a really weird maze, or done in a really weird way. So this place is a lot more linear. It doesn't feel that linear because you're going like up different floors and then down different floors, and there's quite a lot to see and do. But yeah, they've actually kept it kind of linear, so you're not really going to get lost in this place that much. The game pretty much guides you to exactly where you need to be, so that's something that they really improved on, the whole dungeon design. I'll call them dungeons, I don't care. Because in the first gen you had Sifco, that was just a mess. And then you had the mansion, Cinnabar Mansion, that was kind of messy. But I don't think there's any places like that in this game. I mean, the caves can be kind of irritating, but you know, I think they did a really good job. And Mount Moon you can easily get lost in there first time playing, and Rock Cave. What were they thinking with the first gen? It's all just getting lost all the time. Now, I love that game, but yeah, they really did improve it in this game, so you're not going to be wandering around for hours. But what we're actually doing specifically right now is that there's a door, because really we're trying to stop Team Rocket from doing their misdeeds, so we have to get past the door. But to get past the door we need a password, but to get the password we need to go through another door that requires 2 passwords. It's not really that complicated, you just have to go and talk to 2 specific people. And the odd thing about the passwords is that one of them is Slowpoke Tail, and one of them is Raticate Tail. Oh yes, and here's Satan to hang out. I really like the idea that your rival is here, because this rival is meant to be badass, so it kind of makes a lot of sense that he would just casually be walking around Team Rocket HQ without him being stopped. So I think that's really cool that they have the rival actually show up and talk to you in this place. Because there are certain parts in the other generations where it doesn't make sense that your rival would be there. It's kind of a bit strange. I can't think of any specific examples right now, but it makes sense that this guy would be like, yeah, I'm just going to go talk to Tom. Because he does have some interest in you because you keep beating him. I think that's the whole point. Your rival is obsessed with you because you keep beating him, so he's following you around because he's trying to get stronger. I don't know, maybe I'm looking too much into it. What was I saying anyway? Yeah, because it's not that it's Raticate Tail and Slowpoke Tail. I don't know if there's some crazy game theory that can be, thought of here. Because Slowpoke Tail obviously is because of they were cutting off Slowpoke Tails. So is that implying they're doing the same to Raticates as well? Maybe? I don't know. I don't know if some guy has a crazy theory out there. I'm not one of these guys who comes up with game theories, but I think some of them are interesting, but I'm just, I don't really bother to research them. And this, Mr. Sublime, he's the king. He's now the king. He's learnt Psybeam now. And Psybeam, in case, you don't know about the Pokemons, it's really good. Shadow Ball is a really good move, but it's not that powerful. It's a really good ghost move to have. But it's not super powerful. But Psybeam just, with how high Mr. Sublime's special attack is, now that it knows Psybeam, it's pretty much the most powerful member of my squad. It can wipe the floor with anything. I guess apart from bug types and ghost types or whatever the like. But yeah, it's just so powerful now, and you're definitely going to see that like later on in this video and in other videos. Just Mr. Sublime is now going to wipe the floor with everything. But yeah, I don't know, maybe there was a Raticate Tail supposed to be originally in the game, but they took it out, or maybe it's implied somewhere else that they did it in a different region, like in the first region they did that, so I mean, I don't know, I can personally say. But yes, so we opened up this door, we took on this guy, who's not that hard. He's the executive of this place, but really not too tricky. And now, this is kind of cute. I think cute's definitely the wrong word. But this Murrock, it's not a parrot Pokemon, but it's a bird Pokemon that can talk. And the reason why I know it's not a parrot Pokemon, because in the 3rd gen they introduced a parrot Pokemon that could talk. I can't remember its name, but it had that weird little head. I never really caught one, it looked a bit gay. But this Murrock can talk, apparently. And it's definitely a cool way here of having the password. Because the whole point in the door is that only this guy, or only executive, can say the password, "Hail Giovanni." Apparently they're fans of Giovanni. Apparently they think he's a cool guy. So the Murrock, heard his voice and can replicate it. Doesn't make that much sense. But, whatever, it's kind of nice. And I think in the original, that sprite of Murrock isn't that detailed. So it kind of looks a bit weird zipping along. But, of course, this is the DS, so they can perfectly animate a little Murrock. Although, again, it is just its sprite moving along. Bit lazy, but, I'll let him go. And now this is where you're like, this is cool. Because this is another moment where, in the original, there weren't double battles. So, of course, you didn't do a double battle. Instead, you would just fight the two people separately. But this is the future, where things have changed. And you can fight these two people, you fight them together as a double battle rather than two separate battles. Which A, is super cool. B, is kind of annoying because Lance has a level 40 Dragonite, which is badass. But my Pokemon are like level 25. And I don't do too well in this battle, honestly. Because they keep on attacking me because I'm the weaker one, so yeah, it's a pretty easy battle, but I don't do as well as I should because Dragonite just keeps buggering off, flying into space, and then they keep attacking me. It's crazy, jerks. But yes, this is another reason why I felt like in the 2nd gen they wanted to do double battles, but in the end had to scrap the idea, because why have this setup, It's a bit of an odd setup to have Lance, the Dragon Trainer, and the player hanging out destroying Team Rocket, and then put the player in a scenario where they could easily do a double battle, but then not do a double battle in the original. So, I haven't really read anything about this. I was talking about game theories, and now I have come up with my own game theory. Maybe I'll make a YouTube video out of Movie Maker, put the Lavender Town music on it and then just have the words spinning on the screen. It'd be well cool. I'll get all the hits. But yeah, I don't know, maybe I should research this idea, but the evidence is building up. The evidence is building up. And if I haven't mentioned it, it's so cool that the Dragonite is just hanging out. Of course, size-wise, I think Dragonite is not that small. You know, because you could ride a Dragonite from what I can tell. But yeah, and this is all kind of sad, you know. This is why I really like this event in this game, because actually not a story, maybe that's a bit too generous, but it does actually kind of have this point to it that they kind of reinforce. Because with certain areas you're just there to get an item, ultimately. But in this one, because it turns out Team Rocket have been using this evil machine to fire waves at the Lake of Rage to make Magikarp evolve early, which really doesn't make that much sense as a plan or physics or anything like that, but whatever, we'll go with it. So you actually have to take on all these Electros and, you know, make them all faint. You can catch them if you want an Electrode. I can't really recommend it, especially with all the other electric types out there that are really good, but yeah, you can catch one if you want it. But yes, I didn't speed up these battles because nothing happened. York got killed again, so I just used E-Rock and to make them all faint. You know, pretty simple. It's kind of sad that you have to do this. It's not that sad because you're not actually killing the Electros, you're just making them faint to turn off the machine. But it's pretty clever that they had this machine in this game as well, as an idea of how people actually use Pokemon. You know, I thought that it was kind of clever, you know. It's something they've always tried to do, showing off how people in this universe actually use Pokemon. With the first case being, I suppose, that guy in Vermilion City using that Machoke or Machop to build his house. I think that was the first instance of them doing it. But yeah, so ultimately you are here to get an item, because you do need Whirlpool, I think. Or I'm going to need Whirlpool for something I'm going to be doing later, but it's a HM and you do need Whirlpool. But yeah, I like this whole event and section, because it made Team Rocket once again look really evil. In this game they've done some evil deeds, they've been you know, been up to no good, as they say, and you actually do have to stop them, and it's just cool hanging out with Lance. It's just really good. Because the main problem with most team events, like Team Rocket, Team Aqua Plasma, all that good stuff, is that they get really repetitive and boring and ultimately feel kind of pointless. But that one, they did a good job of setting it up with the Lakes of Rage, and then you actually having to go in and put a stop to it, and having Lance there. So yeah, that's the last I'll talk about that event, because it's really cool, but, you know, it did take forever, if I'm being honest. This is what we all want to see. We want to see some gym battles. We want to see some trainers going up against each other to prove who's the best at Pokemon. So yes, this is the 7th gym, which is an ice gym, which is, you know, not that surprising really, but the trainers in this gym aren't too bad. As you can see here, I managed to take out this Jinx with a Mr. Sublime who's level 25. Yes, it helps that I have, you know, a Shadow Ball and really high special attack, but that's not the point. Mr. Sublime is almost leveled up to the right level, so I actually use him all the way through this gym and don't have to go back and heal. Like I said, Mr. Sublime with Psybeam can just kill anything. It just destroys them. If you want to know what ice is weak to, then you could probably guess it's like fire. Shoot, I don't know off the top of my head. But fire is the one you want to go to, so really, if I didn't use Mr. Sublime, of course I would have been using York. My plan for this gym, or going into this gym, I was like, I have York, he's a fire type, it'd be fine. Although it's not that simple when it comes to these ice types, as we will see. The puzzle here, I like the puzzle, and it definitely shows that they learnt from the Diamond and Pearl. They were like, dude, we can't have these horrendously harsh puzzles that reset. Because these puzzles reset, but unlike the Snowball puzzle, it doesn't take a day and an age to do them. I think the 3rd gen in general had the best gyms in terms of puzzles. Although Black and White 2 had really cool gyms because they were visually really nice, but yeah, in terms of puzzles, I think the 3rd gens had the best, but these puzzles are pretty nice. If I had to adjust them, I'd probably say make this puzzle and other ones in this game a bit harder, because you don't really have to think about any of them that much. You can pretty much do them all by trial and error. I think I said error. by trial and error. But yeah, but I definitely prefer simple, and you can get through them without too many problems, to difficult and annoying and random. So, and of course, when it comes to ice puzzles, they went for a very standard concept with this one, just pushing the blocks. So I mean, there's only so many things you can do with an ice puzzles, and you have to give it to Game Freak. They have come up with a lot of great ways to do ice puzzles. It's the only puzzle here is that it's slippery, or the concept is it's slippery, but they've come up with all these kind of different ways of doing it. So I think that's kind of neat and interesting. Honestly, I can't remember the original puzzle, but this one is pretty nice. It's pretty cool. Now oh god, I swear I made that joke every time. Whenever I'm doing a Pokemon LP and its eyes, I'm like, oh, it's cool. Yeah. But yeah, no big surprises with the trainer battles. The trainer battles is not what's going to give you trouble here. These are actually pretty low level, especially after you went through. If you did a good amount of trainer battles in the Team Rocket HQ, then you shouldn't have any problems with these trainer battles right here. Once again, I'm doing all of them because I have 6 Pokemon and I need to be a higher level. My Pokemon should be at level 30 now, should be close to getting their, fully evolving, but they're not. They're definitely not. So yeah, kind of embarrassing. So I thought I'd make sure I fight every single battle. So yeah, so I'm not going to explain how to do this puzzle as of yet. If you really want to know how to do this puzzle, it's pretty simple, but it actually brings me back to my Twilight Princess LP. It's kind of pretty much the same concept and idea, but anyway, with that, I'm going to take on the Kill This Dewgong. Already did it, and that's actually all the trainers already defeated. Not too much trouble. So next time in Let's Play Pokemon SoulSilver, I'm going to take on Price and hopefully get my 7th gym badge. So I've been on Storm23. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you next time.